The involvement of Texas in the American Civil War was the direct result of a long and escalating conflict. While later narratives would focus on abstract concepts like states' rights, the primary documents from the era are unambiguous. Welcome back. Today we are examining the Great Divide. We often hear about the Civil War in terms of battles and generals, but the political war that happened in Austin in 1861 was a coup d'etat. We're going to look at the unofficial election that seized power, the intimidation of voters, and the specific legal argument Texas used to justify leaving the Union. Before we analyze the documents, hit that like button to support educational history and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this series. Now, let's look at the Declaration of Causes. In February 1861, the Texas Convention issued a document that laid out their motivations. This document is the single most important piece of evidence for understanding why Texas left. The driving force was the protection and expansion of slavery. The delegates constructed a specific legal argument regarding the Compact of 1845. They argued that when Texas joined the Union, it was a contract. The Declaration explicitly states that Texas was received as a Commonwealth holding, maintaining and protecting the institution known as Negro slavery. Their argument was that the U.S. government had broken this compact by failing to protect this property. They claimed the non-slave-holding states had become hostile and that the federal government was becoming a weapon to strike down the prosperity of the slave-holding states. This wasn't just a Texas idea. Commissioners from other states visited to reinforce this point. George Williamson from Louisiana told the Texas Convention that a new Confederacy was necessary to preserve the blessings of African slavery. The sentiment was widespread. A letter from a Texan named Caleb Cutwell summarized the feeling. Independence without slavery would be valueless. The South without slavery would not be worth a mess of pottage. Standing against this tide was Governor Sam Houston. Houston was a complex figure. He was a fierce Unionist, yet he was a slaveholder himself. He opposed secession not because he opposed slavery, but because he believed it would lead to a bloody war and a Northern victory. Houston refused to call the legislature to discuss secession. So, radical secessionists simply bypassed him. Led by men like Texas Supreme Court Justice Oran M. Roberts, they called for an unofficial election in early January to send delegates to a convention. This body had no initial legal standing, yet when they convened in Austin on January 28, 1861, they acted as a parallel government. Roberts was unanimously elected president of the convention he had helped organize. Realizing he was being outmaneuvered, Governor Houston hastily called the official legislature into session, hoping they would declare the convention illegal. It backfired. The legislature not only validated the convention's actions and turned their own chambers over to the secessionists, the mob, as Houston called them, had officially taken over the building. On February 1st, the convention voted to secede 166 to 8. A few weeks later, the public ratified the decision by a margin of over 30,000 votes. But these numbers are deceptive. Unionists faced intense social pressure and intimidation. In Brazoria County, Judge James Hall Bell, an ally of Houston, was handed a ballot pre-printed for secession.
Judge Bell, I am very sorry to see you cast that vote, and you are going to regret it.
Bell was soon voted off the court. Many Unionists simply did not risk voting at all, meaning the overwhelming support was artificially inflated by fear. The convention then declared Texas independent on March 5th and took steps to join the Confederacy. They issued a final ultimatum: All state office holders must swear a new oath of allegiance to the Confederacy. Sam Houston refused. While the delegates met upstairs, Houston sat in his downstairs office, whittling wood, a visible symbol of his defiant irrelevance. On March 16, 1861, the convention declared his office vacant. President Lincoln actually offered Houston Union troops to help him maintain control, but Houston declined.
I love Texas too well to bring civil strife and bloodshed upon her.
Houston's removal exposed the central paradox of the movement. They claimed to fight for states' rights, the right to determine their own destiny. Yet, when their own governor and over 14,000 voters exercised their rights to oppose secession, they were crushed. The states' rights argument falls apart when you see that any right interfering with slavery was non-negotiable. Sam Houston retired to Huntsville and died in July 1863, right in the middle of the war he predicted would ruin the South. Texas was now part of the Confederacy. But its role would be unique. In the next episode, we will explore how Texas became the back door of the South, smuggling cotton through Mexico to keep the Confederate war machine alive. If you found this deep dive into the Texas secession useful, please subscribe. And I have a question for you. Sam Houston refused federal troops because he didn't want to cause a civil war in Texas. Do you think he made the right choice? Or should he have fought to keep Texas in the Union? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.